Hey y'all, welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to discuss the Tween music battle between Nickelodeon and Disney Channel. Before I start, I do want y'all to know that I am reading an essay I wrote for you guys, but I hope you will enjoy it regardless of me not really looking at the camera and reading aloud a lot. But yeah, I'm gonna try to not do it as much, but I probably will a lot, so I'm just warning you guys. Okay, enjoy the video. Disney Channel is a network that is known for dominating the tween music scene in the 2000s and early 2010s. It has produced many artists who are still creating music to this day and pretty big hits as well. Miley Cyrus from Hannah Montana, Demi Lovato from Camp Rock. I think she was in something else too, but I know her from Camp Rock. Um, Sabrina Carpenter from Girl Meets World. Who else? The Selena Gomez from Wizards of Waverly Place, and I think there's some more. I think Raven from That's So Raven. I think that's her actual name. I don't really. I'm honestly, I wasn't really a Disney kid. I didn't really watch Disney at all. I just know like the big artists that are still popular today that came from Disney Channel. So Raven, I don't really know about her. Actually, I think she was from the Cheetah Girls. I watched some videos on the Cheetah Girls like a few years ago, but I think she was from that as well. So yeah, big artists still creating hits to this day. And then Nickelodeon tried competing with them with movies and series like Victoria's, Big Time Rush, How to Rock, R.I.P. I don't think anyone really knows that unless you'd watched Nickelodeon during that time. I don't think you know. I don't think you know that show. It was pretty short lived as well, but I'm gonna discuss that more later. And Rags, did I mention that? It was a movie. And yeah, some people did become successful. Ariana Grande, for example, she's like I think she's the highest paid female pop singer, or at least was few years ago. I don't know if she still is. She probably still is, but yeah, she's pretty big. But I feel like that's kind of a bad example because before that she was already in musical and she was already kind of in that industry. And she'd already done pretty significant performances before she was ever in Victoria's. I think she played. I'm not sure if she played, but she played. I think she had like a main role in Annie when she was really young. So I guess that fame could have faded when she got older, but obviously she had a style and voice that a lot of people were into. That's why she became so popular. Wait, that makes total sense. I don't know why I had to explain that, but she had a style and voice that a lot of people were into. So I feel like with the internet coming with well, I feel like with the internet coming up at that time and with the state it was in, I think she could have grown a pretty big audience just on her own. Would it have been as big as it is now? I can't tell you that because I think being on Victorious definitely helped her, but I think she would have been able to garner some kind of following um, just because of how talented she is. I think people would have discovered her at least back then because the internet was still kind of like social media was still kind of coming up and it was still kind of in a new state. So I think it would have been easier back then. Maybe now not so much because there are so many talented people. Like I discovered so many talented people like on those singing compilations, and they're not famous. So um, I don't think it would have been easier for her to gain a following now, but back then definitely would it have been as big? Again, I don't. No, I can't tell you that. But today I want to focus on the battle between Nickelodeon and Disney and why I think Nickelodeon failed at replicating the success of Disney Channel. I mean the musical success. Nickelodeon's really successful, you know. So they're still successful, but I mean the musical success. So one, I think Nickelodeon wasn't able to copy the musical success of Disney Channel because of the different images and different audiences. Because up until 2010, Nickelodeon was very much very much focused on creating sitcoms and kind of this slapstick comedy. And they were good at it. And I think that's what people were mainly watching them for. Because in the 90s, they had this show called All That. And it was mainly comedy sketches. Um, and it had some musical features, but it was mainly just comedy stuff and kind of again, slapstick comedy things. And then you had their spin-offs, the Keenan and Kel, which I really like. If you're into like um kind of if you're just into comedy sketches and like stand up stuff, because that was kind of the style of the show. It would be two friends, Keenan and Kel. They would tell a story on stage to an audience, and then it would cut to something in their real life. They were kind of like around teenage. They were teenagers, um, so that was kind of the stories they would tell, just like school, work, family. So yeah, if you're into that kind of stuff, I definitely look into Kenan and Kel if it's available for you to watch anywhere. Because I really like that show. You had the Amanda Show, which I didn't watch because that was like before my time. I was only ever able to watch Kenan and Kel because Nickelodeon, at least in the Netherlands, was doing reruns of the show. So that's how I was able to watch it. In the 2000s, we had stuff like Net's Declassified School Survival Guide. I watched that show when I was little, but that was still kind of before my time. Yeah, I was born in 2007, so um, that was before my time, but I was watching the show when I was younger. And then So We 101, iCarly, and yeah, it was just sitcoms revolving the lives of high schoolers. And that's what Nickelodeon was known for at the time, and that's what people were watching them for. Whereas Disney already had a musical background. They were already doing musicals, like all of their movies, like their cartoon movies. That I think they only had cartoons like before, like in the 80s and 90s and stuff. I'm not sure if they had like live action stuff. But all of that stuff, musicals. And when Channel first launched, they already started with musicals. They started with music from the jump. They didn't try to force it later. You know what I mean? They were just known for different things. And I think that's what helped with Disney success, just doing it right from the jump, just starting with music and not later adding it. So yeah, like I said, Nickelodeon and Disney Channel had different images. Nickelodeon was officially launched in 1979 and started off with this little puppet show called Pinwheel. In the 90s, they were focused on comedy sketches. And in the 2000s, it was really the high school sitcom era. So iCarly, Zoe 101, I think those were the most popular shows. There was also Drake and Josh. That was really popular as well. Um, so yeah, it was just kind of those kind of shows. Some of the actors that could sing, they would sing sometimes. So they had that, but that wasn't the focus of the show. Hi, so this is editing me. I forgot to mention the cartoons because that's also a really big part of Nickelodeon and was a big big part of the start of Nickelodeon and how it became so popular. I'm not sure why I didn't mention that because I did write it in my essay. At least I think I did. Um, but yeah, I guess Disney also had cartoons, but they had like different types of cartoons. It was more like fairy tale story than like the musical movies. I did talk about that, but they had different types of cartoons. So yeah. Disney Channel had a completely different start. It was officially launched in 1983, and it started with a series named Good Morning Nicky. Well, not Good Morning Nicky, Good Morning Mickey, like Mickey Mouse, you know? But before that, Disney Channel had already released a bunch of musical films. And in 1996, Disney launched something called Radio Disney, and it was just playing some popular songs, top 40, old goodies, and then they played some songs from cartoon shows and movies, just this kind of stuff. And some artists actually did become really popular because of the station. So this was a good thing for a lot of people. It launched some of their. Well, I'm not sure if it launched some of their careers, but well, isn't that kind of the same thing? Making something popular, like launching their career. I think that's kind of the same thing. But you know what I mean. And in 2002, Disney Channel went through kind of a relaunch and as well as a rebranding. And they were kind of aiming to have this hip image. And during this era, Disney Channel released two successful musical series. One of them was Cheetah Girls, and the other one was High School Musical. I have not seen either of them. I've watched videos about them, but I've not seen either of them. So I kind of know what they're about. And yeah. So if you don't know, you probably do, but I'm just gonna explain it a bit, I guess. So Cheetah Girls, I think it was just about about this group of friends who also had a girl group.
Brother, this guy
And then High School
stinks!
Musical was just about um some kids in a musical. Wait, why am I trying to explain these movies? I didn't watch them, and I thought I'd be able to explain them, but yeah, maybe I'll put some kind of summary on screen so you can kind of read what they're about. But yeah, I guess I don't really know what the movies are about, but that doesn't matter for this video. The point is, um, Disney Channel was doing music from the jump. They started. They came from a musical background. They launched their channel, and they were doing music. However, I think Nickelodeon would still have been able to break into the music scene despite their image at the time, which they tried to do with Spectacular, a movie they released in 2009. Was about a guy who was trying to raise money to raise he was trying to raise money to record a demo, so he joined a show choir, and the show choir was about to join a national competition, um, at which they could uh, win money. So that's why he joined. And this movie featured Victoria Justice and Avon Jogia. Is that how you pronounce his name? I should have looked this up before. I'm sorry. But yeah, they were in the movie, and they would go on to uh, be part of the main cast of another show, which Nickelodeon tried to break into the music scene. Victorious. You probably all know this show. Ariana Grande, she was in that show as well. She played Kat. Um, yeah, I liked her character in the first two seasons. I don't know. Later, everyone, I think everyone, does everyone say about her? Yeah, they lobotomized her, and I guess I agree with that because I've been watching like old episodes of Victorious, and like in the first two seasons, she was just so cool, and I don't know. And later, she was just not. I mean, she was still kind of cool, but she was less cool. Back to Victorious. Um, And yeah, the show was just about this teenage friend group who went to an art school called Hollywood Arts. Um, and it was kind of weird because I've been watching old episodes of the show and I just don't understand why they're friends. I think that could have been really successful. I mean, the show was successful. The show itself was successful. I'm not denying that, but I'm just saying I feel like the actors, like the singers, like Andre, well, I should say their real names, but Leon Thomas, Ariana Grande. Well, she's the exception, I guess. But Victoria Justice, Matt Bennett, Liz Gillies. I guess even Jogia, but like he wasn't really a singer. Um, and yeah, they're still successful now, but I feel like it could have been bigger. You know what I mean? I feel like they could have all been really successful musical artists. Actually, I think Leon Thomas is really successful. Like he's this, like I feel like he's doing a lot actually. Because I've been doing research. Obviously, I did research for this video, but I looked into all of their careers now, and they're actually really successful. They're just not creating top hits, I guess. They're not really creating any hits. That's kind of what I'm talking about. I feel like they could have done that more, you know? Um, but that's something I want to get into later is the promotion um of the actors outside of their shows. And then we have Big Time Rush, and as we all know, I think by now, I think we all know this, they're a real band, and they actually they signed a contract for the series at the same time they got signed to their record label. Unfortunately, soon after the show ended, band went on this hiatus, but they're back now for those who care. But I think those who care know that they're back. And in 2012, Nickelodeon released another musical movie called Rags. It was about this singer-songwriter who had a terrible stepfather. It's kind of a Cinderella style movie. There was How to Rock, a really short-lived show. I think it only had one season. And it was really sad because I don't know. I thought I remembered it having more seasons, but it was kind of like 100 Things to Do Before High School. I think it's a series. That show also only had one or two seasons, and I just remember it having more. But yeah, doesn't matter. This is about musicals and like music stuff. But yeah, How to Rock. I really like that show. And Big Time Rush actually had a cameo on that show. So that was kind of cool. Um, but yeah, the show was good. It was about this about two rival bands at a school. This guy made a really good video about it. I watched it a couple weeks ago. It was really fun. I really like that show. It's um, a nice visit, a nice trip down memory lane. Yeah. So if you like that show, if you watch that show ever, if you didn't watch that show, it's also a nice video to watch. But yeah, that was kind of the end of Nickelodeon's musical era. I think they realized that they were not gonna be able to replicate Disney's success, so they just stopped and just gave up. I'm not sure if that's I'm not sure if that was the reason for it, but they kind of stopped doing musical stuff after that. I think they've created some like music stuff recently. I think in 2020 or 2019, there was this new show about, I don't remember his name, it was like Tyler Perry or something, but it was this kid who did something and then he became really popular and he got like a Nickelodeon show. I don't know. I watched a few episodes of it when it came out, like, or a year after it came out. And it was all right, but I was 15 or 14, so I don't know. They stopped focusing on musical stuff after this. And they started focusing on creating kids and teen sitcoms again, which they should have just stuck with. Or I'm not gonna say that. Like I said before, I think they could have done this well, but they didn't. Okay, so now I'm gonna get into why I think Nickelodeon kind of failed at recreating Disney Channel success. Or not sure much why, but how I think they could have done this better. This isn't an original take, by the way, but this Redditor just had a really good take, and I just need to. I completely agree with it. So they basically said that music from music by singers from Disney Channel shows felt a lot more authentic to the actual person, whereas music by singers from Nickelodeon shows kind of felt like an extension of the character they played. And I remember watching a video a couple years ago comparing Victoria Justice's and Ariana Grande's careers. And they mentioned that people were saying this about Gold by Victoria Justice. And I'm not sure how much input she had in the lyrics, but I can imagine it wasn't a lot because it wasn't even written by her. Like other people wrote the song for her. At least that's what I gathered from the research I did. Um, so yeah, I can imagine she didn't have a lot to say about uh, the song. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't, but I don't know that. I'm not sure what the reason was for it. I'm kind of confused about it because I think she was writing her own songs. So I'm not sure why whoever made that decision made it, but I think she could have written her own song and debuted with that, and I think she would have been a lot more successful because it would have been her singing and not Tori. What a lot of people said, or at least this Redditor. I don't know what people were saying, but I think I'm not sure when she did this, when she started like making music again, but a couple years ago she released her first song, like from her first song after being on kind of a hiatus, I guess. I'm not sure if it was an official hiatus, but I don't think she released any music. But yeah, she did in 2023, I think. And ever since then, she's kind of, I think she's been like making music again. I don't know what she's doing now. I don't keep up with her. Even though I don't keep up with her, it makes me happy to see that she's still pursuing music and didn't just give up despite all the drama. And the other people, they're actually still making music. I think I mentioned that before. Ian Thomas is a singer and producer. Matt Bennett is a DJ, and Liz Gillies is a singer. She hasn't released anything since 2023 though, so I'm not sure what she's doing now. Um, but and I think they all still act. I know Liz Gillies was in a show. I think that show is still running, but I don't keep up with anyone except for Ariana Grande. Kind of, I was an Ariana fan until like 15 or 13 or something. I've listened to some of her new music, but I'm not really like a fan anymore. Someone else who was trying to get in, who was trying to become a musician, was Miranda Cosgrove. She was from iCarly. She played Carly. Um, and she was doing pretty well until her label dropped her after missing too many shows because of an injury. There's a whole lot of drama behind that, but she was on tour and um something happened with her bus. Like I think she got into an accident or the bus caught on fire or something. But it was like really bad and she got injured and she wasn't able to do um she wasn't able to continue with the tour. So she had to cancel her other shows. And because of that her label dropped her, and I feel like I'm missing a big part of the story because I just don't believe it's that straightforward. Or was it? Because I don't know, maybe are that seems really mean. Like, not just like illogical, but just like mean. Like you just drop someone because they're injured and they can't do shows because of that. That's kind of crazy. I don't would a music label do that? That seems that seems really dumb. So I don't know. I feel like I'm missing a part of the story. But that's not the point. People were also saying this about her music that I kind of felt like music Carly would write. But I can't confirm that because I didn't listen to her music and I still haven't. I can see that being true though because um it also seems like she had external songwriters and I don't think she wrote any of her own songs. Um yeah, so I think for everyone, Victoria Justice, Miranda Cosgrove. I don't know if there are any other people. I think Drake Bell, but I think he's like I don't really want to talk about him now. So yeah, he's like a musician too as well. I think. Um, but yeah, all those people. I think if whoever was in charge of making decisions about who was writing the songs, I think if they let the actual artists have more control, I think that they could have been what Disney Channel was. I think they could have been. I think they could have been able to launch music careers the same way Disney Channel was able to. So today we had a look at Nickelodeon trying to compete with Disney Channel and the reason it failed. So first reason, I think it was because they just had different images. They were just known for different things. People were watching them for different reasons. And that was one of them. But again, that doesn't have to be the only reason because I think you can still like rebrand and it would take more effort, but I think they could have been able to. I think they could have done it. But second, um, the promotion outside of the shows, Nickelodeon tried too hard to maintain the personas of the characters that that the singers played. And I think if they did less of that, then maybe they could have been successful like Disney Channel was. But yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment what you think about all of this. Why do you think Nickelodeon failed at becoming um becoming this big player in the music scene like they wanted to, like Disney was? Do you think they did? Do you think I'm just talking a bunch of I don't know. I normally make videos about makeup and fashion, so if you're into that, definitely subscribe. However, I do want to make more of video essay style, kind of this kind of video. So, um, yeah, you could subscribe for that, but that probably won't be the main thing I post on this channel. Um, yeah, that was it for the video. Bye!